All right, well, happy Friday, Central Georgia. Sorry, I lost track of my days there for just a second. We are going to take a look at your extended forecast here, like we always do at 10:30 on 13 WMAZ+. We got a lot to unpack. We're going to talk a little bit more about the pattern that we're going to be settling into for a few days here. You're going to kind of get familiar with the weather through the weekend and into the upcoming week. And we're going to talk about that, and then we're also going to talk about the tropics. Of course, you probably know by now about Tropical Storm Erin, expected to become a hurricane sometime later today. And then there's also another area of potential tropical development that the National Hurricane Center is keeping an eye on. So we're going to break all of that down, as well as talk a little bit more about the exciting weekend we have upcoming, the exciting night tonight, Football Friday night, and just kind of go into all of the details of your forecast. So we will start like we always do with the sky cams here across the area. Sky cams have a blue sky for the first morning in many, many mornings. We had a nice sunrise this morning across all the sky cams for the first time in a while, and now we have blue skies across the area as well. Just a couple of light high clouds out there, and other than that, things are calm and quiet. It's nice to break up our cloudy pattern. The only thing that comes with, as you know, is just some warmer temperatures. So now that the sun is out, the earth is starting to heat up a little bit more. The high temperature today is probably going to be the highest one that we've seen so far this week. It's a high of 94 degrees. Probably doesn't sound that crazy, especially with the numbers that we tend to see here across our area. But when I show you the humidity map, and I'm sure you know, because the last few days the humidity has been absolutely crazy. When I show you that, that's going to add to how things feel later this afternoon. So we'll say the hottest day of the week so far. It's not going to get much hotter than this. That's the good news. But we do have a chance to have maybe a few stray showers or storms this afternoon. I want to emphasize right off the bat, any rain chances that we have today are not going to be a wash of your Friday night. If it does start to rain, or if it does start to storm in your area, I think it's going to rain or storm for about 10 to 15 minutes and then probably will die down after that. We're not really talking about a major rain chance for tonight. It's more of the summertime thing, a chance to catch one of those pop-up stray showers or storms this afternoon and evening. So I'll show you the future view on that here in just a minute, but where we stand right now in terms of numbers is already pretty warm. It's only 10:30 in the morning, and you can see the numbers across the board are already mainly in the mid to upper 80s. So it's feeling pretty warm out there, especially when we take it over to the dew points map. To give you a little bit of meteorological perspective, dew points in the mid 70s I would consider to be pretty oppressive. So when we jump that number up to 80 down there in Dublin, 81 in Unadilla, 84 in Cordele, that is really muggy air. So it's super humid outside. I'm sure I don't even have to be the one to tell you that. If you've been outside at all in this past week, you probably just kind of feel like you're choking on the air a little bit. I know that's how I feel when I've been outside over the last couple of days. So unfortunately, this is going to be with us for a couple days more. We're going to deal with the humidity, and again, though the numbers are only climbing into the mid 90s, this, as you know, is going to be our thing that kicks us back up into the heat indices feeling like the triple digits. It's almost like the humidity is kind of a shocking reminder that we're still in August, because again, temperature is not so bad, but when you factor in the humidity, yeah, I don't have to tell you, because take a look at the map across the board right now. Again, Cordele with that crazy dew point, although I'm not 100% sure if that's completely accurate, but could feel up to 110 down there in Cordele. Elsewhere, already feeling into the triple digits, Dublin and Gordon at 103, Sandersville at 100, Wrightsville, Milledgeville 99. Overall, it's feeling a lot worse outside than it actually is at the moment. Unfortunately, this is going to be the trend for the day. I think a lot of places on this map are going to find that pink color. The triple digit feels like number is probably going to be very prevalent through the rest of the afternoon today and likely into the weekend as well. So it's okay. We've been there. We've dealt with this before, but it's something that you'll probably have to deal with through the weekend this weekend. But is there relief in the form of rain? Maybe. If you're one of the luckier spots today, you could find something. Now I show you the entire southeast view to kind of show you the lack of anything out there. We're entering into a pretty boring weather pattern. We're going to be dominated mostly by what's going on in the mid levels of our atmosphere. What's happening up there is one of those good old heat domes is going to be setting up. So we're going to be dealing with that for a couple of days here. But I think you won't be complaining too much, because that heat dome is actually going to help with the steering of Tropical Storm Erin and keep that away from the east coast of the United States. Overall, it's going to be really hot, but it's actually going to end up being a good thing, sparing us effects from Erin. So I kind of show you this big picture to show you there's not a lot to point out over here. A couple of showers and storms over there in northern Alabama, and elsewhere it's quiet. Now if we take this over towards the western portion of the Gulf here, you can see a good cluster of showers and thunderstorms looking somewhat organized over in the Gulf. But you can see some of these showers and thunderstorms already moving inland. This is a good thing. So we're going to talk more about this little area here as we get towards the tropics section of the forecast, because this is the area that's being monitored by the National Hurricane Center. So without giving too much away, there's what it looks like on the satellite radar, and we'll talk more about that here in just a minute. But at least in our area here in central Georgia, it's about as quiet as it can be. If we play the radar back from this morning, you can see some speckles on the radar there. That's just backscatter. We actually didn't have any rain this morning, and it has been clear and quiet. Again, we had a great sunrise this morning. Flipping it to right now, absolutely nothing out there. So a great start to the day here, hopefully shaping up to be a great weekend. If we play this through on the future view, remember I mentioned that chance for a pop-up stray shower or storm. I show you the future view to show you how light that chance is going to be. Maybe one or two of these little blips starting to pop up as we head into the heat of the day. We got a lot of moisture in the area, and then we have a lot of heat. So it will bubble up a couple of showers, maybe a few thunderstorms as well, but not expecting really to see severe weather today. So these will move on pretty quickly, I'm thinking. Anything that pops up, it's going to be extremely isolated, so it'll cover a really small area. And then also, I just don't think that they'll be very long-lived at all. So hopefully anything that pops up moves along quickly. This right here is a cluster that just started coming up in this model run, so I'm not totally sold on this either. Also, this would be late night tonight, so hopefully that wouldn't really play an impact on football Friday nights. I'm going to say we really just have the chance for a few stray showers here and there through the afternoon and the evening. It's going to be a very familiar story, like I told you. The only real difference for Saturday is that there maybe is a slightly better chance at catching one of these stray showers or storms. You can see on the future view here, they try to resolve the coverage to be a little bit better than it is for Friday. It's still the same idea, it's just a couple of pop-up showers and storms, but there collectively seems to be more of them on Saturday. I think there's maybe a slightly better shot Saturday than Friday at seeing some rain. Again, I don't necessarily think anything that you see is going to be a washout of the entire day. If you got outdoor plans for the weekend, I still think you should be able to do them. You might just have to enter back into your typical summertime thing. Throw your umbrella in the car, maybe have a rain jacket on you just in case, but overall, don't let this deter you from getting outside this weekend, because I think it will still be a good chance to do so. We will also do this again on Sunday. Saturday is kind of the only standout day there where the rain chances may be slightly better. Sunday, we return to the same kind of thing we'll see tonight, which is just a couple of really tiny areas of pop-up showers and maybe a couple of embedded thunderstorms within there as well. So this is the pattern, and it's going to be the pattern on basically the entire 7-day forecast. You'll have a rain chance on there. It's just not going to be very substantial. So let's talk a little bit more about football Friday night. I know I'm excited. A lot of people here at the station are excited, and I know a lot of people across central Georgia are excited. So the main thing that you want to know if you're heading out to watch some high school football tonight is that it is going to be really humid. We talked about this. We just saw the feels like numbers on the map there. The actual number right around tailgate time will probably be at the high of the day, right around 94 degrees. When you factor in all that humidity, it's going to feel in the triple digits if you're tailgating. So definitely make sure, maybe bring a fan, a bottle of water, throw your hair up, because the humidity is going to be absolutely absurd. It's going to be a bit of a muggy start to football Friday night. Then there will be a chance for a stray shower or storm. I'm hoping that this won't cause any delays for football Friday night. It's not looking like it has a great chance to. And again, anything that does pop up, I don't want you to worry. It will be gone very, very quickly. So I'm just throwing that on there to say there is a chance, but I'm hoping that it won't interfere too much with football Friday night. Still hot, probably in the upper 80s by the time we kick off. By the time we round out the game, a couple of these showers and storms may be lingering, but I think most places will be dry as we kind of lose the heat of the day there. It is definitely still going to be muggy though, especially if you catch a shower and it saturates the atmosphere even more. It's going to be a very muggy close to the night, but the temperatures will start to drop. Overnight tonight, we'll find a low in the 70s. So by the time the games are ending, probably sitting somewhere in the low 80s. Overall, I think we're going to be able to do it. I don't think rain is really going to hold us back from having a good football Friday night, and I am very excited to hear about tonight. So hopefully that gives you a little bit of a perspective of what to expect tonight and for the weekend. But let's go ahead and take a look beyond the upcoming weekend. We have really not a lot of changes on the way. Like I said, it's kind of the spoiler for this whole forecast. Once you get today, tomorrow, Sunday under your belt, you're going to have the next couple of days ahead of you as well. If you take a look at the future view here, you can see a couple of blobs on there. Again, this is the long range model, so they're not very high resolution. This just means the same kind of thing that you're going to see over the weekend. A couple of light pop-up showers and storms throughout the afternoons and evening. The only change that could potentially be on the way is some coverage that you see here on Friday. The rain chances may go up a touch. in the early morning hours, late night hours Thursday. I'm not totally sure about this yet. This is kind of on the end of the forecast, and you know how these things go. These change a lot. Friday's actually not even on the 7-day forecast yet, so we'll kind of see how this ends up resolving. But overall, really through the next work week, you should kind of assume the same thing you saw during the weekend is the same thing you'll see during the upcoming days as well. A couple of stray showers and storms that pop up with the heat of the day, otherwise dry and just really muggy and really, really warm. So that's kind of how the rain chances are going to go for the foreseeable future. So with that under our belts, let's talk a little bit more about the tropics. So not too long ago, we got the 8 a.m. advisory from the National Hurricane Center. As of 5 a.m. this morning, we did have a slight change to the forecast. Instead of it going up to a Category 3 and that being the highest that Erin is forecasted to go, the National Hurricane Center now, again as of the 5 a.m. update, has Erin jumping up briefly to a Category 4 storm before jumping back down to a Category 3 and then maintaining Category 3 strength as it continues to take that curve down towards the east. So potentially that could be on the way. That is the latest change of the forecast. The good news with that is it doesn't look like that's going to have major land impacts, at least at the moment. Again, we'll need to be paying attention for impacts along the Leeward Islands here. I do believe that there are tropical storm watches in effect for places like the Lesser Antilles, maybe Puerto Rico into the Dominican as well. So we'll just kind of need to pay attention to this. If it does kind of jog a little bit closer to the Leeward Islands, some more watches and warnings could be issued, but that's really the only major change that was kind of issued as we were watching this storm throughout the day today. There's been a lot of chatter about Erin becoming a hurricane sometime throughout the day today, and I still think that is going to be the case. Right now, it's still a tropical storm. The last update from the National Hurricane Center said it kind of took its time overnight last night, so it may take the day today to kind of see this thing pick up and get itself together, but it's still expected to intensify into a Category 1 storm, our first hurricane of the 2025 season sometime later today. We'll get the 11 a.m. advisory soon and see if maybe the National Hurricane Center has a better idea of where this system stands in terms of its intensification, and then it will just kind of continue strengthening. The waters here, when it was down over in the eastern Atlantic, the waters there aren't extremely warm. The waters that it's encountering from here on out are much, much warmer, much more conducive for it to continue development. I think also some of the slowing here over the last couple of hours or so in the overnight hours was the system encountering some dry air. So I think there's going to be a little bit less dry air as it moves further along its track, and overall it's still expected to become our first major hurricane of the season. A still somewhat slow moving system. We're not talking about this moving up towards the East Coast until the midweek next week. So this will be a system that we're just watching again for quite some time, but it's good news for us here in central Georgia because overall I think the certainty is increasing that we will really not have impacts in the U.S. almost at all from this system. Direct impacts, that is. We're kind of seeing the models take a better agreement towards this eastward shift, and again it has something to do with that dome of high pressure that's going to be setting up in the United States. That's going to help steer this thing away from the coast. I think at worst case scenario, we're talking about some of these outlying models have Erin kind of coming up and maybe grazing the North Carolina coast, but overall it's not expected to anymore take any direct land impacts across the United States. So overall it's going to be good news for us here in central Georgia because we're really going to be spared, I think, almost any impacts at all, aside from maybe some increased tropical moisture in our area, but I think that's the most that we would be talking about from this system. Areas along the coast will need to be paying attention. If you're going to be doing some traveling here in the next couple of days, there will be increased surf and rip currents as this thing kind of moves its way across the area midweek next week. But other than that, we're definitely being spared major hurricane impacts here in the United States. We'll still want to pay attention to what this system does for Bermuda. That would be the other land impact that we'd be paying attention to. But the hope here is that maybe this thing will kind of sneak its way between Bermuda and the eastern U.S. It's not just the GFS that thinks that. The Euro is pretty online with this as well. It's got a few more outliers that try to take this thing way east or try to take this thing a little bit further to the west. But I show you this to also show you, again, worst case scenario. The models have this thing kind of grazing the coast of North Carolina, and that's the most that we would be talking about in terms of impacts here in the U.S. I'll show you what the European and the GFS look like on the models here. Again, GFS jogs this a little closer to Bermuda. Euro has this a little bit more centered, just kind of coming directly in between the two land masses, which would be kind of the ideal scenario there. So we'll keep an eye on this. Again, it's going to take a while to keep an eye on this. We'll probably be watching this for the next next couple days, probably through the weekend and into the early work week to kind of see what this thing does. I mentioned it's not the only area that we're watching right now or that the National Hurricane Center is watching. We have this area of potential development over in the Western Gulf. Now, the thing about this system is we're watching it for a few days here. Right now, it's at 50% chance of development overall. It's not got great chances of becoming anything greater than a tropical depression. What's happening here, this disorganized area of showers and storms, is over the extremely warm waters of the Gulf, but it's going to continue making its way inland towards southern Texas and northern Mexico throughout the day today. As it does that, it's going to move away from the warm waters, and that's going to squash its chances of development. So potentially it could become a tropical depression throughout the day today. Again, it's somewhat of a medium chance of development, 50% overall. So we'll kind of see if this does become a depression, but it won't become anything more than that. What we're really talking about here is a lot of rainfall for places in southern Texas and northern Mexico, and that's kind of about it. So definitely no impacts for us here in central Georgia, and we're probably not talking about our next named storm. Potentially could be talking about a tropical depression, but I think the chances are somewhat low or teetering between somewhat low and medium. We'll kind of see how this progresses throughout the day today, and then we shouldn't be worried about it after that. Remember, Erin is our 5th named storm of the 2025 season, which we need to cross off on our list here. The next name on the list to grab would be Ferdinand. That would be our 6th named storm. And we're waiting to see, which again should happen sometime later today, Erin become our first hurricane of the 2025 season. The first hurricane on average occurs right around August 11th. And we've kind of passed that date now without seeing the first hurricane of the season. So running a little bit behind average in terms of the first hurricane, running kind of like along on schedule in terms of the number of named storms that we've seen so far. We'll definitely see an uptick in activity throughout the months of August to October. Remember, the peak of hurricane season is in September. So we're kind of running right on track to where we should be in terms of the tropics. That's where Erin stands as of 10 a.m. on Friday morning. So we'll continue to watch this through the weekend. There's going to be more live streams. We'll continue to talk about that at 10 a.m. and 11 a.m. on 13 WMAZ Plus. I'll kind of break those down tomorrow and Sunday. We'll talk a little bit more about what we see on Erin over the weekend and into the upcoming work week as well. So average temperatures for this time of year are right around the low 90s. That's kind of where we're sitting, and I'm going to news flash you here. That's where we're going to be sitting for the next couple of days as well. If we take a look at the Climate Prediction Center kind of 6 to 10 day outlook, talking about the dates August 20th through August 24th, we're going to be sitting slightly above normal, if not very close to normal for this time of year. When you see the 7-day forecast, which we'll just go ahead and flip over to after I show you the humidity map here, just to remind you that the humidity is not going anywhere through the weekend and into the upcoming work week. The numbers are hardly going to move, so it's just going to be a rinse and repeat forecast for the next couple of days. Through the weekend, you can see the rain chances teetering between 20 and 30. I'm really not thinking we're going to jump much higher than that, and the numbers don't move much at all either. Today's the warmest day that we've seen so far this week. Into the weekend, we should just teeter in the low 90s, and then take a look at the upcoming work week as well. Staying in the low 90s through the next couple of days, we really hardly move from that value for the next few days. So remember, with the humidity that I just showed you there, that green, the dark green entering our area, it's going to stay with us through the weekend and into the upcoming work week also. But as we kind of factor that into the temperature, that is going to drive the feels like numbers up into the mid to upper 90s, likely over the triple digits for a lot of spots. So the pattern just doesn't break up much over the next few days. Remember, it's a good thing. That heat dome is going to help keep Erin away from us, but it's definitely going to make things feel really warm, and the rain chances don't get very substantial through the next 7 days. We're still just talking about a couple of isolated thunderstorms, maybe a few showers, things that don't really last very long and probably won't be too impactful to your outdoor plans. That's how things stand as of right now. Remember, I told you because of Erin, we're going to continue to do live streams through the weekend. Saturday morning, I'll be live at 11 a.m. on 13 WMAZ Plus, right here where you are. We're going to talk about the 11 a.m. update with Tropical Storm Erin. It will likely be Hurricane Erin by tomorrow. We're going to do that. We'll do an extended breakdown of the forecast, see if there's any changes going on. And then once again on Sunday at 10 a.m., we're going to take another look at where Erin stands Sunday, and that should definitely have some more clarity about where Erin is going to be by the midweek next week. So more clarity in terms of if it's going to graze the North Carolina coast, more clarity in terms of watches and warnings in effect for Bermuda, all that information. So that will be happening tomorrow and Sunday. Again, lots of updates coming your way about Erin through the weekend. And hopefully we're able to pull off a successful Football Friday night without any rain delays. I'm crossing my fingers for that. So thank you so much for joining me this morning for a look at your weather impact extended forecast. Again, I'll see you here tomorrow at 11 a.m.